Third down and 20.
Wide receivers, Cowboys, CeeDee Lamb, wide receiver 8, Cooper, 20, Michael Gallup, 46, Cedric Wilson, not ranked, Simi Fehilko, not ranked, Eagles, Devontae Smith, wide receiver 22, Jalen Reagor, 57, Fulgham, 117, Quez Watkins, not ranked. Oh, Quez Watkins actually 141. John Hightower, not ranked, Greg Ward, 136, JJ Arcega-Whiteside, my lawn chair, not ranked. Terry McLaurin, wide receiver 11, Curtis Samuel, 41, Diami Brown, 63, Kelvin Harvin, not ranked, Cam Sims, 132, Antonio Gandy-Golden, 122. Then Giants, Kenny Golladay, wide receiver 27, Tony, 53, Slayton, 73, Shepard, 80, John Ross, and Dante Pettis, not ranked. Real quick, looking around, most of us have Michael Gallup as the backup tone, except Frank. Frank's the most confident that Amari Cooper will be the one maintaining his value, while Lounis thinks he's overrated. We all kind of think that CeeDee Lamb's overrated at wide receiver 8. I just think
I'm fine with him at 8. I'm fine with him at 8.
Looking at the Cowboys, I just think there's way too much of like the Cowboys are likely going to have to throw it a lot, but like the pace that Dak Prescott was on last year, he was going to throw like a million passes.
I'm not expecting that pace. No, my reason for why I'm fine with him at 8. I think by this time next year, if not by midseason, CeeDee Lamb will be Dak's number 1 wide receiver. I'll say start of next year to be safe, because I'm really confident in that.
Maybe, but even if then, like, I'm not sure wide receiver 8 is where I still really like CeeDee Lamb, but to have him that high, like, I just bump him down a few spots to like wide receiver 12.
Top 10, maybe.
Dude, Lounis, I think that's the exact problem, though. You have to come out and say, "Oh, I'm predicting CeeDee Lamb to be the number 1 guy." That's his price.
I'm not.
You're predicting him to be more than the number 1 guy. You're predicting him to be the number 1 guy and to be the coolest dude on the team.
I'm not predicting it. I'm telling you, it's gonna happen.
I like that, Frank. Coolest dude on the team.
He is the coolest dude on the team.
I mean, Frank's that resident Amari Cooper guy.
Who's cooler than him on the Cowboys? Cowboys are lame as hell.
Michael Gallup.
I actually like Michael Gallup, but he's not as cool as
he's fine.
I feel like Trayvon Diggs is pretty cool, even though he's not a receiver, not on the offense.
He's not even the best Diggs. Move on.
He gets burned every other play.
I feel like he's a cool guy, though.
Well, all right, just I think
he's like me in backyard football. Like, I'll get some picks, but if you're running deep, you're beat.
You just compared yourself to Trayvon Diggs.
In backyard, I said I'll get some picks, but if you're running deep, you're beating me by 20 yards.
I don't know. I just like I think that Amari Cooper is still the guy. Dude, he had the quietest 1,000-yard season. You would have think that he went for like 100 yards on the year last year because of how people treat Mr. Cooper.
He's not.
Dude, I think that he's still he's the most polished receiver on that team. The guy's routes are really good. He's gotten over the drop issues that he had early in his career. I think he's still the guy.
Is it a bold take for me to say that I don't think either of these guys are going to be a wide receiver 1 next year? Like, is that a bold take?
Relatively. They're both priced like that to a certain extent.
I don't think it's bold. Well, I mean, I think CD is priced like it, not necessarily for next year, but for the long term. I think in the 2022-2023 season, CD will have a top 10 year. Next year, I expect him to be probably top 20.
Okay, yeah, but who are you taking? Are you taking CeeDee Lamb or are you taking DJ Moore?
Well, you know
CeeDee Lamb.
CeeDee Lamb. My feeling is on DJ Moore.
Give me CeeDee Lamb.
For long term, or what are we talking?
For long term, Dynasty.
Yeah, if you're at a startup draft, like if you. The thing is too is that you got to draft CeeDee Lamb around earlier, so you got to be like really confident.
Well, no, you just asked me straight up which one I'd rather own.
Well, yeah, but like that's.
Well, personally, I'd rather own DJ Moore. But yes,
I think that's the problem, though, is that the fact that it's even a debate for me is why I don't want to buy CeeDee Lamb at wide receiver 8 price. I think in a startup it's a little bit better.
I mean, you're asking DJ Moore is receiver 20, but DJ Moore is probably receiver 12.
Yeah, but he goes a whole round later.
Yeah, that is when you consider quarterbacks and running backs and.
Because CeeDee Lamb goes with all those running backs. Like CeeDee Lamb is going to be drafted around all the running backs, like, Josh Jacobs and Gibson, like somewhere in there. Whereas DJ Moore, I think for the most part, is going firmly after that run of running backs that usually happens.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm fine with that. I'd rather have CD than Josh Jacobs.
Well, it's Josh Jacobs. All right. Eagles, Lounis's team. I mean, I've just.
We are running low on time, but Michael Gallup, what are we thinking? Goodbye or
Goodbye. Goodbye. People are forgetting about him.
I see what you did there. That was good.
People are forgetting.
I think he's a little overrated.
You're a little overrated.
I'll take it.
No, dude, think about this. This offense has.
I'm sorry, real quick. In his second season in the NFL, he had 1,100 yards.
Yeah, but I think people are going to cling on that, and I'm not sure.
When he's a top 2 receiver, and he will be soon.
If he's a top 2 receiver on a bad offense, though, like a bad passing team, it doesn't really matter. Like wide receiver 43, 46, I feel like is just a fine. I don't think it's a buy low opportunity.
I'd have him somewhere in the 30s.
Dude, it's just funny to see all these offenses having these players ranked so high when they were all trash last year.
Well, looking at this team, right? There are 3 wide receivers ranked in the top 46. There's 32 NFL teams, so you're predicting 3 of them are going to be better than, a good chunk of the league. You're predicting the Cowboys' 3rd wide receiver is a better choice than any other team, most other teams' 2nd wide receiver. So I don't know.
I mean, the Cowboys also, like, their tight ends are cheeks, so.
Yeah, that's true. Well, we'll get into that in a minute. Let's just move on to the Eagles. We're running low on time. I've trashed Devontae Smith enough. We've talked about him enough. We could just move on.
I don't think there's really much to talk about here with the Eagles. Devontae Smith, receiver 22. He's very polarizing prospect. Frank and Lounis obviously feel he's underrated at 22. Me and JT feel he's overrated. I mean, I think 22 is about right just for a guy as talented as him. He won the Heisman, blah, 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 blah. Jalen Reagor, we all have as underrated just because he's ranked receiver 57.
57 is low.
Yeah, I don't think anyone can argue that he's 57th in the league in terms of dynasty wide receivers. He's a guy that went in the first round last year. Yeah, he didn't have a good season, but
for most of the year.
He was hurt.
Yeah,
and that quarterback situation, that offensive line, the whole situation was an absolute mess. So I think everyone's going to give Jalen Reagor kind of a pass on there.
Really quick comment on Reagor. People got lower on him when they drafted Devontae Smith. I think Devontae Smith being there actually helps Reagor. He doesn't need to see those number 1 corners anymore.
The thing is, I like with Reagor is that you can get him at his keep trade cut price. It's not one of those guys where it's like, oh, he's ranked 65, but you have to pay the, wide receiver 52 price to actually get the owner to sell. Like Jalen Reagor owners will sell him. And a lot of the time, I mean, maybe they already have in your leagues, but they will sell him relatively low, it seems like, from my experience. Before we move on from the Eagles, I actually think that Quez Watkins is someone that has some potential.
I like Quez Watkins too.
Mainly because I thought that of all the young receivers they had last year, including Reagor, he was the one guy that actually seemed to show up in some way, shape, or form.
To be fair as well, like he play with Jalen Hurts? Am I crazy?
No.
No, wait. Not. Who played with one of these guys?
In college?
In college, yeah.
Devontae Smith.
Well, no, yeah, Devontae Smith. But someone was on Oklahoma with
CD Lamb?
No.
It's the number 2 on that team. I don't know who it was.
But no, what's going to be something to monitor with these lower Eagles wide receivers, Smith and Reagor are the top 2. That wide receiver 3 battle is going to be between Travis Fulgham and Quez Watkins.
Get out of here. Fulgham should not be ranked. He should not be ranked. He should not be ranked.
I'd rather own Fulgham than Quez Watkins.
No shot.
Yes.
No shot. Fulgham should not be ranked. He's an absolute enigma that he made his money because the whole receiving core was hurt. Every single guy was hurt. Like, what do you want?
Quez Watkins could have done something.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think I'd rather have Quez Watkins. I mean,
they're going to battle for the number 3 spot.
Fighting for scraps there.
All right, moving on. Washington football team. Terry McLaurin, actually, wide receiver 11. Kind of all over the board on him. We all agree Diami Brown is criminally underrated. Like he's some of our most underrated. I just think the hate towards Diami Brown is crazy. Well,
I don't think it's the hate towards Damian Brown. I think more people are looking at him and going, all right, he was a third-round pick. He's going to an offense led by Fitzmagic and/or Heineke at quarterback. They have, Terry McLaurin supplanted him at the top of that depth chart at wide receiver, and then just spent big money to get Curtis Samuel as that number 2. I just think people think there's not enough mouths to feed in that offense, but I think all of us on this show, at least, just believe in his talent, and we believe talent always shines through. He's a guy that we think should go in the top half of second rounds in rookie drafts. So overall, I think, Diamond Brown's a good buy at that price, especially.
All right. Anything else about these guys, really? I think Terry McLaurin, wide receiver 11.
All of you think Curtis Samuel's overrated at 41. I think he's a little bit underrated.
My thing is because I think Diamond Brown.
Yeah, I think that has to do with all our Diamond Brown.
Yeah.
That's
fair. Let me ask you this. Before we move on from Scary Terry, if Scary Terry was the wide receiver 1 on your fantasy team, are you looking to buy a wide receiver 1, yes or no?
No.
Basically, are you confident with him being the number 1 receiver on your fantasy team?
Yeah. I mean, listen,
if
he is confident in it.
If he is, I need a good wide receiver 2. I need my wide receiver 2 needs to be one of those guys.
How good? Like Cooper Kupp kind of good, or like a Keenan Allen kind of good?
Like closer to Keenan Allen. Closer to Keenan Allen. I don't think Terry McLaurin and Cooper Kupp would make me confident enough as my top 2 receivers to win a championship for this year, at least.
Terry McLaurin and Keenan Allen would be a very good combo.
And I think like Scary Terry, to be honest.
I think McLaurin's gonna have a great year. I think he's gonna have around like a monster year, like around maybe 100 catches, 1,200 yards. I like him. I'm comfortable with him as my wide receiver 1. I'm just saying I'd want a pretty good wide receiver 2 if I'm trying to win a chip this year.
Dude, when I watched the Washington football team in those 4 games on the All-22, like Terry McLaurin was really good.
He's filthy.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot better than I expected.
Him against the Cowboys Thanksgiving game, he looked so good. He looked so good.
Filthy.
Like I think he's legit. Like I would. Yeah. I'm a very anti-receiver fantasy football player in most formats where you're starting 10 players, where you have even 3 receivers, 2 flex, and a super flex. Just because I think you're better off buying running backs, quarterbacks, and tight ends to give you like an actual competitive advantage. You can just fill in with a bunch of undervalued receivers, but there are here's how I rate receivers, right? It's the 0-1-2 theory. You have zeros, you have ones, you have twos. Okay.
Okay.
Terry McLaurin's a 2. Terry McLaurin's a 2. It's just you have to draw the line. Like that was my argument against T. Higgins. To me, T. Higgins is a 1 that is being priced like a 2, right? You have 1s are kind of guys that can like get you 1,500 yards, 12 touchdowns ceiling, right? A dude that can legitimately be one of those stud receivers. Dude, I think he's a 1, and he's at a very favorable price right now to a certain extent. He's not priced like a top receiver in the league. He's still priced as like a wide receiver 2 to a certain extent, like a good wide receiver 2.
I agree. I like Terry as a buy. I think if you're going to pay a lot for a wide receiver and if you want to do it with Terry, I'd be happy with that.
I think the issue though about Terry is Tinder Girl JT's back here.
I hate you so much.
He is sneaky older than people believe.
Sneaky older.
He is
25.
This is going to be
25.
in his 3rd year in the league. He'll be 26, and in the dynasty world, that means you're only going to have like 1 or 2 years where he's going to be valued as peak, and then everyone's going to be like, "Oh, he's falling off the cliff." And to be fair, when we're saying Tinder Girl JT, I look at it from the perspective of other people, where it's like, you better be fine with having this person on your team for the rest of his career, because you're not going to be able to sell him for that value in 2 years. Like what you're paying for him is, I mean, that's just the decision that you're going to have to make going into making that trade.
I'll keep him until he's 33, 34.
That's fine if you want to make that commitment. I don't hate it. But that's just the reality of it.
What do you have, commitment issues, JT?
I might.
Don't show Emily.
All right, so Curtis Samuel, we all think kind of stinks. Lounis, for some reason, still has such a hard-on for him.
I like, what is it? He didn't. Robbie Anderson and DJ Moore both have really good years last year, and Curtis Samuel still had 1,000 scrimmage yards with Teddy Bridgewater as his quarterback.
Yeah, Teddy Bridgewater, the top 16 fantasy quarterback that he was.
Not true. Teddy Bridgewater sucked. I couldn't believe you guys did a stream and said that he was average. Teddy Bridgewater was one of the worst quarterbacks.
This is not a Teddy Bridgewater thing. It's a Curtis Samuel thing.
Yeah. Okay.
I like Curtis Samuel a lot. There's a reason he got paid what he got paid. He's just dynamic. You just get the ball in his hands. I think Rivera's going to do that. I think we might see Samuel play a little bit of that McKissick role. Some of those routes.
What if I told you guys Curtis Samuel's actually younger than Terry McLaurin?
He is.
I don't care.
Isn't he still 24? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just saying that to say that, but it's true. He is younger than Terry McLaurin.
That's part of why I like him a lot. He's super young.
He's fine in my opinion. I think I have him as like an overrated thing because we just choose overrated.
And he still never had a quarterback who can throw deep to him. And he's one of in my opinion, the better deep route runners. Yeah. He's had a bum shoulder Cam Newton, Kyle Allen, and Teddy Bridgewater. He's never really had a quarterback who can throw deep. So that's another reason I like him.
I just like Diami Brown more. I just love him.
I know, I get that.
That's my issue. But I don't hate Curtis Samuel. I think if you had a different rookie wide receiver behind him, I think I would like Curtis Samuel more. All right.
What's the price tag for Curtis Samuel?
Well,
probably mid-second, I would assume.
I'd want
206. What are we thinking? 206. Are you taking 206 or the Samuel?
I don't know if I can get that for Curtis Samuel. Just because of the name,
I'd rather just hold Curtis Samuel than trade for 206. I'd probably rather just hold. An early second I'd really start to look at, like if I'm in that range where I could get like a Rondale Moore or something, or either one of the Moores. But I wouldn't sell for 206.
Well, here's the issue to me, right? Like 206 might be Diami Brown. So
or Terrace Marshall. I know you're a big Terrace Marshall
guy. I'd rather own Curtis Samuel than either of them, even though I like Diami Brown a lot.
All right. And all the other football teams' receivers, Jags, are we in consensus?
Except for Isaiah Wright, Temple legend. Disrespected.
I don't even think I put him on here.
You didn't. It was blatant disrespect.
Like these guys are stuck by Terry McLaurin, Curtis Samuel, Diami Brown aren't going anywhere. So these guys are stuck way beyond them.
I'll make the thumbnail is Isaiah Wright the most underrated receiver in the league?
He is.
All right. Giants. You know how I feel about Kadarius Toney. You all say he's underrated.
I can't believe you said overrated at 53.
He's nothing to me. He's literally 0. He might be a negative. He's literally a roster spot that I'm just going to have to hold out and hope that he becomes something, and that's not happening.
You didn't put him as the most overrated, though.
No. Well, look who I did put as the most overrated.
Devontae Smith. You're such a menace.
That was an easy one.
Such a menace.
Yeah, but you're saying that at least Devontae Smith is a roster spot. Apparently, Kadarius Toney is not a roster spot to you.
He is, but he's down there. He's not. I'm not starting him. There's no way I would ever feel comfortable starting Kadarius Toney, ever. Even if he goes off.
Maybe not right now as a rookie, but second or third season, I think he's gonna be pretty good.
I don't know. I just generally, when do you get a receiver of Kadarius Toney's draft capital?
He's a first-round receiver at wide receiver 53.
Yeah, where he's going. Last time I saw this was Brandon Ayuk. I mean, I loved Brandon Ayuk coming out, but
and that wide receiver 2 spot is up for grabs on the Giants.
That's where I'll say Sterling Shepard, I think, is very underrated. Jake Haslam is the most underrated. He just can't
stay healthy.
If Diami Brown wasn't here, I think I would say Sterling Shepard's the most underrated too.
I like Sterling Shepard too. He just can't stay healthy.
Yeah, but the thing is that I feel like Sterling Shepard fits Daniel Jones's play style and fits the offense that Jason Garrett is going to have to run because he doesn't really have much leeway with, at least from what I saw last year on film. He kind of has to run like the set Daniel Jones offense.
Well, all right. Last question about the Giants, I think, is Kenny Golladay an elite level player? Like,
apparently, according to you guys.
I think 27.
Listen, at 27, he's a screaming buy. You're telling me he's only a wide receiver 3? I mean, a top end wide receiver 3, but
he's a wide receiver though.
Like, I think he's a mid wide receiver 2 with receiver 1 upside. Like, we've seen him do it. We've seen him produce. Obviously, he doesn't have Matthew Stafford at quarterback anymore, and obviously it's a downgrade. I'm not arguing that at all. And he's older, whatnot. I understand that and why his ranking is dropping. But I do think for the next 2 years, he has the chance to put up a lot of numbers. That he is going to get fed the ball in this offense. Like, him and Saquon are going to touch the ball both a million times this season, and I can pretty much guarantee that. So as long as he's healthy and as long as everything checks out with his medicals, because he missed most of last season with injury, I think receiver 27 is just too low.
Yeah, but according to DF Bean Counter on Twitter, he's a fake alpha.
Oh,
fake alpha.
I like.
Have you seen the guy?
He was an alpha the last season he was healthy, and then in the games he played last year, he played like an alpha.
Yeah.
Apparently, he's a fake alpha though.
He was the only receiver defenses have really had to focus on against the Lions for the past 2 years, and he's still every single game.
You know Marvin Jones exists, right? You know Marvin Jones is like a
Marvin
good
Jones.
I love Marvin Jones.
He's decent, but like you're putting your defensive attention on Kenny Golladay.
Yeah, over Marvin Jones. Yeah. I think Kenny Galladay's fine where he's priced. To be honest, I just had to choose between overrated and underrated. I like DF Bean Counter. Saying he's a fake alpha doesn't feel right.
Every time he's been healthy for the past 2 years, he's played like a wide receiver.
I think he lives and dies with his health and Daniel Jones' success, and so that's a lot to bet on, in my opinion.
I also think last year with him not playing, I think the coaching situation and the whole contract situation was a little bit of a factor with him not coming back for the rest of the year.
Yeah, a little AJ Green action for you.